In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to land your first or even your next drone job, even if you don't have a single client yet. From building your portfolio to reaching out to the right people, we're going to walk through the step-by-step process you should take that will increase your chances of landing a client. So first up, we're going to talk about your avatar. And your avatar really is a specific description of the person that you're trying to sell your services to. So here you want to list exactly what industry they're in, what's their job title, what location are you going to find them in, and then what are the key challenges and problems that they're going through. So for example, your ideal avatar could be construction project managers in urban areas that need help saving time on manual site inspections. Next, you really want to get clear on the pain point that you're solving for them. So what is the best way to actually identify that pain point? I typically suggest just talking to your clients. You're not going to get this information from Google or even from studying their website or their social media. Your main aim is to schedule calls with your potential clients so you can actually just listen and hear them talk about the different issues that they're facing. You may mention the fact that they're having a lot of safety issues, or the fact that they get to a hard to reach area of the site, or the amount of time it's taking to do manual surveys and inspections. So you want to make sure that you're listening out for this key information, but again, you're not going to know unless you're actually talking to them. So for your avatar, you do want to make sure you have a solid profile for them. And this really just helps you get laser focused on your messaging. If you're trying to talk to construction site managers and then also to those in commercial real estate or agriculture or mining, it's really going to look like your company is all over the place. And these high value clients, they want to work with specialists. They don't want to just work with someone who can do it all. So when you're thinking about who's actually going to be interested in your services, you want to make sure that your messaging is speaking really only to them. Step 2 in how to get your first or your next drone job is to build some case studies. And simply put, these high value clients are not going to want to work with you unless you can prove that you've done the service before. So just think about it. If you wanted to hire someone to do some remodeling in your home, you're likely going to want to see some pictures or some case studies of jobs that they've done before. You wouldn't just trust them that they can do the job, right? You want to see some actual proof that they can do the job. And better yet, if you can see exactly who they've done it for, who they've worked with, really to build that credibility. So the same thing is with your business. A lot of times I go to drone business websites and they just have really the photo of the job or a video and there's no description of the job, right? So you want to make sure you actually have a case study that describes what happened in that job. So 3 things you want to focus on for your case studies. It's the problem that your client had, the solution that you provided, and then the outcome. And you really want to outline the numbers. For instance, how much time did you save them? Or how much money did you save them? Like how much faster did you speed up the process? So for instance, I work with a drone cleaning company out of Toronto, and one of their big statistics is we help you speed up cleaning time by 70% using our drone technology. So now when property managers are doing the calculation in their head, they're like, okay, we can save a lot more money using drone cleaning technology than it would take, and the fact that it's more safe. So there's a number of different angles that they can use to really convince them and sell their services. So if you already have some examples from previous projects that you've done, you can actually use those projects and create case studies around them. And the question may be now, what if I don't have any projects? Like, where do I start? I have no experience in this industry. But the simple answer is you need to find a way to do some projects for free. You need to at least show that you've done it before someone is actually going to hire you and pay you money. So you could offer maybe like a free mapping sample to show your capabilities for 2D and 3D modeling, and say that this is going to really show you the capabilities of it. So you really need to find your way to get in the door, and a lot of times that is done from doing free demos of your work. Now, you don't want to do this too much. Of course, your time is very valuable as a drone entrepreneur. So you want to make sure that if you are going to do a free demo, that it's a high likelihood that it's going to lead to a high value opportunity. So ask these potential companies if you can do a free demo, and all else fails, just use freely accessible land or vacant lots or somewhere that you just capture, right? Some publicly available space that you can either map or take some photos of, and be creative with the case study. It doesn't have to be paid in order for you to create a case study around it. The fact is you have done it before, and it really is going to be the way that separates you from everyone else. All right, number 3 in how to get your first or next client is you have to be doing outreach, and this cannot be understated. Your clients are not going to come to you, right? And yes, can they find you on Google and contact you from there? But that's not going to be a steady stream of leads, right? You have to be proactive, and this is really one of the core parts of running a business. You have to be setting aside time to do outreach. So typically what we recommend is reaching out to at least 20 new prospects per day. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that, what you can say exactly in the DM. But you want to be making sure you're making those connections on a daily basis. If not, you're really not going to be putting yourself in front of enough people, and this is a numbers game, right? Your clients need to hear from you, right? You need to be able to establish connections, establish relationship. So it does involve breaking out of that shell, feeling those jitters of reaching out to strangers, but this is a really core part of your business, and you really just have to normalize it, right? You're in business, you have to reach out to people. There's just no way around it. So once you understand this, and once you figure out the right strategy, it'll become easier and easier over time. So what does that exactly look like? So we have an example that we can show here, and you really don't want to overcomplicate things. The reason why DM works so well is because you can reach out directly to the decision makers. A lot of them, they're on social media, just like everyone else, right? We're on social media all day. And so the idea here is you really just want to establish a genuine connection and relationship. A few years ago, it would have probably been more normal to just spam messages and do the whole robotic thing where you're just sending the same message to a lot of people. But nowadays, you really have to connect. So we always talk about personalizing your message when you're reaching out to people. There really are endless ways to find, and I'll be talking about more of this in future videos, but one thing I do is just a simple search on LinkedIn. Not only can you just search for someone's title in a certain city, but I always search post as well. So if I'm looking up a post and if I just say construction in Houston, I'm gonna see anyone who's posted a picture about construction, about a video, and maybe someone that's taking a video of themselves on a site, hey, we're at this site in Houston. So now you can see that they are actively talking about their site. You could just reach out to them and say, hey, I saw you were at this particular site. Are you guys using drones? I see you were taking footage of a site that you were at. Congratulations on the new site. Are you using drone technology? Right, and that now opens up the conversation. So you're probably asking, what do I say next? So once you establish that, the point is to really get them on a call, right? So you want to steer that conversation to, okay, you've been using have you been using drones? You could then introduce the services that you offer and say, hey, we've been working with a few construction companies in the area. Would you mind if I send you a case study? Or you could just go into, hey, would you mind if we jump on a call for a quick chat and I can explain a little bit more about what we do. So this will become more natural as you do it, but it is a necessary part of the business. So let's just look at a quick example here. For example, you could say something like, hey, Stacy, nice to connect with you. My name is John from Falcon Eye Aerial Services. I just wanted to reach out and introduce myself. I'm going to be offering some drone mapping services in the construction space, and I'm just reaching out to make some connections to get to know some people. That's a really soft entry that you can use. You're not being salesy, you're not being pushy. You're really just obviously trying to establish connection. You could also offer to send over a few case studies just so they can take a look. If you have a lead magnet or an ebook as well, that's another way that you can lead with value so you're not sounding salesy and you're giving them something that they would actually want to read. So number 4 in how to get your first or next drone client is you want to make sure that you have an active Google My Business profile. If you think about the most likely way someone's going to search for your drone services, they're going to Google drone company in Baltimore or drone company in Tampa or drone company in Los Angeles. Your company needs to be coming up near the top of the searches. So there are other topics that we'll get into like search engine optimization, SEO, how to get your website found. But you do have the ability to create a Google My Business profile. So when anyone's looking up a drone service in the city, your company is popping up. Once you have your profile set up, make sure that you're also getting referrals, preferably 5-star referrals as well, right? Anyone that you've done a good job for, and that's really gonna make your company stand out, since that is the most likely way that someone's going to search, at least for the foreseeable future. That's really the number one way that someone's gonna search for a drone services company in any particular city. So make sure your Google My Business profile is set up and optimized. Number 5 is It's enough to identify all these folks, but you really want to be using a CRM tracking system. And I recommend a simple spreadsheet so you can get the person's name, the company they work for, email address. I typically highlight if it's a hot, warm, or cold lead, just so you can prioritize who you're reaching out on a daily basis. But you really do have to be keeping track of every single person you're talking to. So if you don't have a list right now, if you can just keep names and numbers, in random places, I highly suggest just making a simple spreadsheet, list every single person that you've ever talked to about drones there, and then you can prioritize, all right, when did I last talk to them? Even if they've ghosted you, right? Even if they didn't have any response or didn't reply to anything, make sure that you're keeping them on a spreadsheet so that you can always go back and track who you're talking to. It's so easy with everything going on a day-to-day basis to remember, hey, I talked to this person, or I talked to John on last Tuesday at 3 p.m. You're never gonna remember these things. So you do have to write down the names and make sure that you can easily go back and find them when you need to reach out. So 2 bonus tips when it comes to just being in contact or just getting in front of your clients. You need to go to where your clients are. So this could be local meetups or conferences or interest groups, but it's not enough to just look for these folks online. You do want to be meeting up in person. And so just do a search. There are plenty of different websites that talk about different meetings and networking groups and business kind of associations. You really want to be spending time there. If you're trying to work with farmers, find out where the local farming association is. Sign up for the next meeting, but you really need to put yourself out there. This work is not going to just come to you, so you really need to be proactive in looking up where your target market spends a lot of their time. As a second bonus tip, you also want to make sure that you're creating content on a weekly basis. As you're reaching out to these companies, they are going to take a look at your profile. So your social media profiles really are the new resume. If they don't see activity, they're going to lose some credibility and trust in your overall brand. So at least make sure you're updating. In a future video, I'll talk more about how to actually post, what type of content that you should be putting up on your page. But you want to make sure that you're staying active. And this also includes posting blogs on your website as well to make sure that you're keeping active. So to recap, we talked about nailing down your avatar, being really focused on who you're trying to reach. Number 2, we talked about creating case studies. So you're not just posting photos or video on your website, you're actually creating stories about what happened. Number 3, we talked about reaching directly on social media, reaching out on LinkedIn, reaching out on Instagram, making sure that people know and understand the services that you offer, and just introducing yourself and starting genuine conversations and scheduling meetings. Number 4, making sure you have a Google My Business page and you're keeping it updated so people can actually find you. And number 5, keeping a CRM active so you can go and look day to day on where your leads are and how to go and find them. Last thing, make sure you are following up with your leads. It's not enough to just reach out to them once and expect them to close. Following up is very important in this process. So, lots to cover in this video. I'm going to be making more videos like this. Are there any specific questions you have for your drone business? Make sure you ask them in the comments below. And if you do need help, my name is Eno. I am a drone business consultant. I've been in the industry for close to 10 years now. I've grown from a pilot to a consultant, and I now help drone businesses do exactly everything that we were talking about in this video today. So I look forward to making more videos, and check out the description below for some free resources, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.